Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of The Remarkable People Behind the Podcast. I'm Jeff C. I'm here with the amazing, as always, Peg Fitzpatrick. And we're waiting for Guy Kawasaki to towel off after surfing or something. I don't know. He's not here. He's going to be coming in late. But for now, we wanted to tell you guys that this is a great episode that we had drop this morning, all about being creative. And I won't be able to pronounce her name right. Peg, you do it because...
I think it's Paiement, Nicole Paiement. It's very French.
But once again, it's another fascinating thing that I knew nothing really about. It's about conducting and how she has done it as a woman and all the stuff that a lot of people knew nothing about conducting. I was one of them. And not only that, but opera. There's opera weaved into this too. So it was a fascinating episode that you don't want to skip because it really is amazing.
I really appreciated too that Nicole is pushing the boundaries and they're creating like contemporary opera. They have this Everest opera that is based on In Thin Air, the story about Everest, and they did it with a graphic novel, which is how
I
avant-garde.
really want to see it too because it's not too long. It seemed like it would be something really interesting to go see.
If you're interested, on remarkablepeople.com, on the website for this blog, for this episode, there's a video. So you can see.
Is it like a teaser or is it just just a teaser of her?
I don't believe it's the whole thing.
Okay.
But it's a teaser. But it's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah. So we've got people turning in from Brazil, from France. Thank you guys so much. We're talking all about creativity today because this was a creative episode. But something that we really, really like to do is, if you are a fan of the podcast, we'd love for you to join the Remarkable People community. You can actually go to bit.ly/Remarkable People Circle. It's a private community where you can ask questions, you can comment on the latest episodes, you can actually even say, hey, what about this remarkable person? You haven't interviewed him yet, or her. And so we would love for you guys to join. Once again, that's bit.ly/Remarkable People Circle. We'd love for you guys to join the community. So it's very, very fun inside of there. So got a lot of people tuning in right now. But we have an icebreaker question. Peg does such a great job of putting all these icebreakers together. But what inspires your creativity? So, Peg, when you need to be creative, what do you do? How do you get the inner muse going?
I do two things. Sometimes I just save things that I really like on Pinterest on certain boards. So if I need... Sometimes I like pre-plan inspiration to try to help jumpstart things.
That's smart.
So I'll have a board that has certain things on it if I'm researching a certain project. Talking to people inspires me. So if I have an idea for something, I would talk to somebody about it and bounce it off them to see if they thought it was interesting. And then usually that sparks my ideas. And then, of course, just Pinterest, straight up search for ideas, depending on what it is. Because, of course, we want our creative ideas to be unique and interesting, but then you can go back to people saying there's no new ideas, everything is just redone, but you do want to try to put your spin on it. So I think even with, hey, look who's here.
It's raining here.
What?
Yeah, we said you might have been telling off. So we are talking about this week's episode, creativity. Peg was giving her tips on what she does to be creative. There's a lot of great insight inside of this podcast. What I do is I like to listen to podcasts. And I like to listen to podcasts. Like this one's a perfect example. It's something that I would not think that would be, it's not one of my interests. I don't go and I'm not in deep to opera. But this got me interested in listening to the graphic novel one that you mentioned, Peg, and maybe going in and I didn't really know what I was in band, and I know, Peg, you did a lot of musical stuff too. So I knew what a conductor in choral stuff does, but I did not know how a symphonic conductor works or an operatic conductor. So it was really, really fascinating.
It was. So Nicole Paiement went to Eastman School of Music, which is in my hometown of Rochester, New York. So shout out to School of Music. And one of my friends that I went through elementary school and junior high, and then he went to a private high school. He also went to Eastman School of Music, and our junior high music teacher was amazing. Mr. Tirabassi actually performed at Eastman School of Music in their operas, and we went to go see him, and he has since passed away, but he was like a very inspirational teacher for me. Wow. first time crying on Remarkable People. But anyway, so my friend Kevin, who went to Eastman School of Music, he performs in the Bavarian National Opera in Germany, in Munich. That's what he does. And he still, to this day, is performing. And I found songs by him on Spotify because he
That's
does
cool.
so many performances. But this week he's doing the magic flute.
Very cool.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, we started out with the same instruction, and then I think his went a little further. And opera is definitely the hardest of all music because it's, we're musicals. There's like dance breaks and songs and things. For the orchestra, I mean, it's probably the same for a musical. Or no, I think opera is probably the hardest because it's just straight music.
Yeah.
It's lots and lots of straight music. So it's a very challenging medium. So it's really cool to hear what Nicole had to say about what it's like to conduct that.
So what about you, Mr. Kawasaki? What inspires your creativity?
Well, I've never been to an opera, but I got the list of what operas to go to now. And what inspires my creativity is 2 tuitions that I still have to pay for my kids. So,
It's getting less though. It's only 2
Yep.
college. No, wait.
Yeah.
Well, you have
Yep.
one college and one high school and then another college. Back when we started working together, there was, it was all,
4.
yeah, but then you had all college ahead still. So you're
My
working along. So good job.
my middle name was 529 for a while, so
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, no, I don't have any great insights about, not I'm not like Julia Cameron about creativity and all that. I don't even think about it. I just whatever I have to do, I just do. I'm not looking for the muse or the inspiration or the fountain pen or the magic mushrooms or anything. I just freaking just grind it out.
Well, didn't you say
So
you did a lot of your thinking?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, didn't you say before that like driving in a
Yeah.
car was very
Yeah.
inspirational for you to do?
I wouldn't say it's inspirational. It's just that happens to be when a lot of great thoughts come to me. And honestly, and you're going to think I'm so full of shit when I say this, but I swear my best thoughts and ideas have come to me while driving a stick shift German car. And I don't have a stick shift German car right now. So that's why I haven't had any great thoughts for the last 15 years.
I
But
think it's probably because you don't have your phone in your hand.
maybe, but
And to look at
I,
you're
I
like in
think
your
I'm.
head, you're like,
I think we have to. I think I have to remedy that and get a German stick shift car just to test, because
Good.
we've tested conditions where I don't have it and I'm not creative. So now we need to test the situation where I have it and I am creative or not. So purely for science, I need to get
That's a
Porsche.
good
Yeah.
excuse. Yes.
a
Good
9/11 for science.
Yeah.
Do you don't get any ideas when you're surfing, or you're so focused on like
Staying
balance?
alive.
Yeah, no, because I'm not a good enough surfer to let my mind wander. I have to, it's every single molecule of my body has to be focused on surfing when I'm surfing. So,
Right. But that's kind of
so
the same with driving a stick, when you
mhm,
think about it, because like you're
yeah,
focused on like a lot of the road and I'm
yeah,
assuming you're driving that 9/11 down like the highway that goes on Big Sur. So you're like right on the edge of you're in Monterey and you're like, really have to pay attention every second and you're driving like James Bond because clearly in your head people are chasing you.
I don't, I don't know what you drive
I just
different in
watched
Keene, New
I just
Hampshire than I
watched
do.
James Bond last night. Did you
Which
guys watch
one?
No Time to Die, the new one?
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
There's a new one out
Yeah.
Yep.
His last one with Daniel
Daniel
Craig.
Craig's last.
that's out
Yep.
on what
I think it's
Netflix?
Netflix. Yeah.
Mm.
So here's a creative question for you people listening. Who's your favorite James Bond? Since
Well,
that
Sean
isn't
Connery. You don't even have to ask.
Daniel Craig.
No.
Seriously?
No. Sorry. It's still Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Nope. Nope.
You read the novels, the
Well,
original novels. He didn't have blue eyes, so he's just.
but the reason that it ties into creativity is because that's one character that has been reimagined by different actors. So it's really
Yeah.
cool how they've done that. They've kept the
I
the
I
essence
can
of Bond.
I can see the debate about Sean Connery versus, Roger Moore versus whatever, Daniel Craig, but this Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher just doesn't cut it at all. If you know who Jack Reacher is, Peg, probably that's
I
not
do.
the genre you're interested in.
I am forced to watch it sometimes.
The books are good. So we've got a lot of votes in the comments, like Michelle saying you need to get a new Porsche. So I mean, if you we go by the comments, it looks like you're gonna have to do that for science. So
a podcaster should be focused by his audience. So who am I to deny?
Daniel Craig is the best.
Sorry, I'm in charge of the comments, and I'm just going to pull them up.
Roger Moore is not even a choice. Roger Moore.
No, he was a campy, but then I would say
there's another guy in there that was pretty bad that he only
Pierce.
Yeah.
No, Pierce Brosnan was good. I think he just ended up being too old when he went into it. Because he was supposed to be James Bond, and then he was on Remington Steele. So then he was like, he missed a couple cycles. I mean, I think Daniel Craig is up there in age, but he is in. Yeah,
Jonathan says he likes Daniel because he's getting old, and I relate to fatigue, and he's getting rickety. So we're getting off topic, but we're being creative. So make sure you guys check out this week's podcast at remarkablepeople.com. It's very, very good about creativity. Another question we have is, what kind of live music do you like? We're talking about opera. It was weaved into the podcast and conducting. So what type of live music do you like? So Guy, what do you go to, not now, but did you go to live concerts?
Never, because I've been to 2 Justin Bieber concerts, if that counts.
No, you're a believer.
I'm a believer, yeah. I have Meniere's disease, and Meniere's disease involves deafness in one ear and tinnitus in that same ear. So going to a loud concert is my idea of hell. So I don't like the loud noise, and I don't like crowds, and I don't like standing in line. So besides that, I'm just pointing to the conference. Yeah. Concert, not conference.
So Peg, what about you? What kind of live music do you like?
Well, if I was going to choose something to go see, I would 100% always go to a Broadway musical, but I also do like live concerts. And where I grew up, where I lived in Rochester, and when I lived in Michigan, there was like amazing concerts. And when I lived in Michigan, we would in the summer just be like, let's go get lawn tickets for $15, which tells you all how old I am. And you could go see. One time I got like Piano Man tour with Elton John and Billy Joel, or the Beach Boys opened up every show, so we would just go see whatever was there. So I do love live concerts. I'm not so much of a hard rock fan, but I have seen AC/DC and a bunch of things. Yeah, I don't know. I went through a little phase. But I do love live music, and Rich and I like to go. Rich's dream concert was U2. He had seen them, but he wanted to see them in Dublin, and we got tickets in London. We haven't seen them in Dublin yet, but if we ever can see Bono, if you're out there watching Remarkable People, number one,
he'd be a great guest. Yeah,
he's amazing. I do like live concerts.
I was in London once, and Elton John was playing. So if you were in Hyde Park, you could hear it, even though you quote weren't at the concert.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what was? So I like pretty much any type of concerts. I've gone to all sorts of things, everything from James Taylor to, Broadway musicals to, I went to the Dixie Chicks when they were. I mean, I've gone to I like to listen to all sorts of things. I don't like the people singing behind me. I'm like, I'm paying to listen to these people, not you. So stop it. So if you're sitting near me, don't sing. But what was your first concert? Like you went to, like when the first live concert that you can remember? Guy, do you remember like your first one?
Don Hole? No. Probably either Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young or Blood, Sweat and Tears.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw the Cars.
It was the Cars? Mine was Chicago with Peter Cetera.
Huh.
Yeah.
Good.
Mine was Don Hole. I'm pretty sure it was Don Hole.
He was pretty famous.
Yeah.
Tiny bubbles, baby.
So this is it in the same vein. We would love to know from you guys in the audience, because if you were this podcast is all about being creative and the conductor of this kind of the opera and some of the new way she's getting people into the opera. Have you ever been to the opera? I think I was when I was little. I think we had to go in school, and it was not pleasant.
Closest I've been to the opera is I saw, oh shit, I forget the name of the movie now.
I saw Bugs Bunny
with Richard Gere and
Pretty Woman. Yeah.
Yep. Julia Roberts. I think a lot of people's introduction to opera was that, but even better one is Moonstruck with Cher and Nicolas Cage when they go to the Met. That is a very. I haven't been to the Met yet. To see the opera.
Okay, I have to. Okay, so people that I surf with are now watching this. Yeah. And they don't think I can multitask and look at a text message and, still be on a live conference. So I'm giving a shout out. We have a group of surfers. It's 4 of us called the Yawn Patrol as opposed to Dawn Patrol. And it's Mark Nishimura, Cynthia, Thomas, and John Conway. And so I'm giving a shout out to them because they don't think I can handle this. So
have they been to the opera? That's most important.
Have they been to the opera? I don't know, but Mark Nishimura is the team dentist for the San Jose Sharks, so he's been to hockey, that's for sure.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting job as a dentist. All the pucks in the mouth. So I think Bugs Bunny was the first to remember the Barber Seville when he did. Yeah, and then I went to the most recent one I went to, and I don't know if it counts. It was the Christmas rock opera. They always play their. I can't think of the name, but they always have the instrumental you hear on the radio all the time.
Oh, Pentatonics?
No. It's actually called a rock opera. That's it. Yes. Yeah.
That's an orchestra, though. That's not opera.
They call it a rock opera, though. So
maybe have a different thing. Well, so I rock opera, I've seen Red.
I think Nicole would be quite flexible about her definition of opera, right? I mean, she definitely espouses a different kind of non-traditional, in the English language opera.
Yeah. I've been to the opera, but only a couple times. I saw Casa fan tutti, obviously with my teacher in it, and I saw La Boheme, which is amazing. Rent was based on that. It's a really great story. Did I see any other ones? That might be
my niece is an opera professor at the University of Toronto.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And she is married to a woman named, what's her first name? Paisano is her last name, or something like that. And she's a very famous opera performer. So it's not
Paisano. How have you not been to see her yet?
Because she's in Toronto.
You travel when you were traveling.
So my choir teacher in college she sang in the New York Opera. That was her claim to fame. So that was fun.
Yeah.
She had a vibrato. Woo! It could go. It was crazy. So, yeah. So, this is
a Justin Bieber concert doesn't count as opera.
It was probably just exactly as hard to understand. I don't know. So this is great. So David says he's talking. We also go to other cultural festivals and concerts around town, especially at the Rogue Valley wineries. So that's the question that we're kind of leading into is: have you tried different types of music during the pandemic? I mean, I really want to go now and see this graphic novel based opera that Nicole talked about on the show. Because it just sounds fascinating. It doesn't seem like if you hate it, it's not that long, and you're not going to be stuck there for like 5 hours. But it sounds like the graphics and all the stuff it'd be fascinating to see. So I'm all about listening to different things. So
I would rather, and this is going to be heresy, but I would rather go to an opera than a professional football game. Honestly. Freaking professional. Have you been to a professional football game? Put that in the comments because my God, I went to one. First of all, the crowd at a professional football game is not people you want to hang out with.
They never stop cheering. There's nothing going on in football, and they're like screaming. It's like, wait until somebody scores.
I know it. And there's like 5 seconds of action, and then there's 25 seconds of planning what to do in that 5 seconds. And then there's a TV break. And then the last 2 minutes of each half takes about half an hour because they're calling timeouts every 3 seconds and throwing the ball out of bounds. So when you watch NFL football on TV, where they show highlights and other games and all that, it's interesting. But man, when you're at the game, holy cow! I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I went to the new stadium, the Dallas Cowboys stadium, because my son's a big Dallas Cowboys nut, and it was disappointing because we were up in the nosebleed section, and it's better to watch it at home. And then it's just, I mean, he loved it, but I'm like, I'd rather now the Rangers going to the baseball game. That's fun. That's
baseball.
It's
better.
chill. It's just
baseball?
a lot of
Baseball has even less action than football.
I know, but it's relaxing. It's not. It's not a. It's a family
the
thing.
fans don't scream for no reason.
Yeah.
Man.
But so
baseball is like baseball is for people who are.
It's boring.
Golf is too fast for them, so they go to baseball games.
My dad is shaking his fist at you in heaven right now, saying, "How dare you insult baseball?"
Really?
I think it's really relaxing to go. I'm not a big fan, but it's fun to just
I used
chill.
to when I lived in Michigan. I used to work at the stadium in the snack bar during the football games, and I was like in high school. It was a very good place to find men. For a young girl, there's a lot of guys at baseball games and football games, by the way. I didn't like football, but I did work there. And that alternative football league that came out, I worked in that.
Alternative football league, the AFL.
Yeah, there was something else from the NFL. It was
World Football Game, WFL, the one Donald Trump owned the team in.
It totally bombed, whatever it was.
Oh yeah, the XFL, was it XFL?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It was like, why bother, FO?
So back to the original question was, do you try different types of music? I mean, I've looked at different playlists. I have a pretty esoteric, weird listening thing anyway, but I haven't listened to opera, I'll tell you that.
Well, I found a great playlist, which I'll share for a future question. But I have listened to different kinds. We listen to jazz a lot. And that's when Rich starts making dinner, jazz and old fashions. He's and then dinner comes after that.
Maybe I go to opera if I had a bunch of old fashions.
Right?
Yeah.
If you go to Broadway shows, you can get drinks now.
Yeah.
What's an old fashioned?
It's bourbon, and it's an old recipe. Bourbon and simple syrup and bitters, and depends on what kind you want to make, and cherry or orange.
Never heard of it.
So, but you, Guy, have you tried? Do you listen to different types of music?
I honestly, I'm just not a music kind of guy. I just never listen to music. Even when I'm in the car, I'm listening to NPR all the time because I'm listening to NPR to hear good guests that I can go get the same guest. So it's competitive analysis.
So Jonathan,
you listened to NPR exclusively before you had a podcast, too, though.
Well, yeah, so now if I listen to NPR in a Porsche because I'm looking for guests for the podcast, is a Porsche a tax deductible item?
Yep.
sure.
Okay, here's something we can solicit feedback from. So let's suppose that I'm going to buy a 911. Let's just suppose. Okay. So you can vote. Should I get a manual or an automatic? Because the Porsche PDK automatic is absolutely stunningly awesome. I mean, it is so great and automatic.
Well, but didn't you say part of the fun and the kind of when you got in the zone was using a stick?
That's part of the fun, but I'm 65 years old. I'm getting up there. No, I'm 66. I'm actually 60. I'm almost 67. So, at some point you can't coordinate your brain and your left foot. So we got to anticipate that.
Okay. So Jonathan says he's been working out to musicals during the pandemic, which that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
and at work.
Yeah.
I love that.
So our last question is this one. Would you listen to opera at home? See, I can't. It's the same reason, like some friends of mine watch Netflix and do other stuff while they're working. I can't. I get involved with the story. I think with opera is the same reason I can't listen or watch or even have a musical on is because I'm listening to the words, and I would be trying to figure out what they're saying.
But if they're singing in Italian, it won't matter.
They're Italian, so.
But then I'd be like, what did they just say? And I would be lost, and it would distract me too much. So I'd listen to it for enjoyment, maybe if I had like subtitles. Like they talked about, and maybe you guys did not know this, but they talked about this at remarkablepeople.com. So go listen to this episode. But they talk about subtitles. I did not know you could have subtitles at an opera.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they give you. There's a really big program that gives you like the outline of what's going on. So,
If I could get that at home, I'd listen.
Pardon me?
Well, I guess the bottom line is, even if you're not interested in opera, you would enjoy this episode of Nicole, because it's so much about creativity and team play and team leadership. There's a lot of parallels between conducting an opera and running a company, let's just say.
And she said some really interesting things about, you ask her some really pointed questions about, like, if somebody wants to be a professional in a professional orchestra, what she's looking for. Is she looking for someone who is outstanding, who can work in a team, and all this different things, and what a conductor does and what it looks for. So it was really fascinating that you could even take some application on, entrepreneurship and business and running creative people. All that stuff's in the side of this podcast.
Yep. I'm a great podcaster.
That's true. That is true.
I'll share a link after we're live. That is an opera playlist that I found. It has a lot of great songs on Spotify that has like songs from a lot of different really great operas.
Cool.
So if anybody wants to give it a try, there's going to be a Spotify link. It's like opera chill and relax or something like that.
That's cool that they have that. That's what I think. That's what's so fun about these playlists and Spotify is finding those kind of things. Like I have a creativity playlist that I listen to when I'm trying to be creative, and so I think that's really cool. So I'm gonna have to listen to that, Peg. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it will distract from work, because it didn't when I was listening to it. Because same reason, if I put a musical on it, there's no way I could write anything because I'll be singing, I'll be waving through the window and not even paying attention when I'm writing. If anybody gets that. Maybe Jonathan, did you get my reference there, waving through the window? Let me know.
So on Spotify playlists, if I'm listening to it in Italian, they know they can get the lyrics. You can show the lyrics. Would it be in Italian, or could I get it like translated?
No. I don't think so on Spotify. You could, I'm sure you could if you just looked it up on Google, but honestly, part of the thing with opera is it's so emotional that you don't always have to know what the words are.
I need to know. I have to know. We're getting it up there, and like my wife's like, turn on the subtitles, and I'm like, I don't like having the subtitles on during a show because I think it's distracting. But we were watching. We were in Encanto, the new Disney thing. So.
I have the subtitles on when I'm watching a movie in English. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what we do now too. I was getting really upset. We went and saw Spider-Man, and I thought this guy was filming it. I thought he snuck in this like device and was like he was holding, and he was hard of hearing, and it was one of the things that the theater gives out. It looks like an iPhone, but he puts it right down underneath there, and it would give the titles, and I would need that for opera.
Is Spider-Man good?
Oh, it's the best Marvel movie yet. It's
really?
This
latest
really
one?
Yes, it's really good. It's awesome.
Must be Zendaya.
I'm a nerd, but it was really good. So
you are a nerd.
That's what I said. I totally embrace that.
Hey, so how's my camera and audio today? Because I'm always trying to figure out what's going on.
It looks better. You were a little wonky at the beginning, but it looks really good now. So
I forgot to put foundation on today because I was late. So
yeah. I have a face that's perfect for Photoshop. So, any other things we need to wrap up with, Nicole? Once again, we have a great, if you're not subscribed to the podcast, make sure you guys go right here, hold up your smart device, and you can go right there. You can leave us a rating and review. But if you haven't subscribed, because we have some amazing guests coming up in this new year that you're not going to want to miss, because they're really, really good. I'm working ahead as we speak, and there's some fascinating interviews that are coming
next
up.
Week. Who's next week, Jeff?
Who is next week? Peg knows better. I'm trying because I'm working like two ahead. It's Julie Cameron. Yeah, she's amazing. And then Dave Evans was really, really good too. So that one was really fun. So
and then it's Mark, and then it's going to be Mark Benioff.
Yeah. So really good, really, really good. So make sure you guys go to remarkablepeople.com and subscribe.
Fogg and Mark Benioff, or we can switch them.
What?
Yeah.
BJ Fogg after Dave Evans.
Oh yeah, BJ Fogg, Tiny Habits. So every night
Yep.
I take my contact lenses out and I throw them in the trash and I put my phone on the charger in another room so that I can sleep better. That's my new tiny habit.
Awesome.
Very, very cool.
Yep.
So make sure you guys go subscribe. Guy, Peg, I guess we'll come back after the new year. Do you have any resolutions for next year that you're going to share with us?
I am going to leave more gaps between people's audio recordings.
Don't touch that button
That is
for
a
all that is good and
one.
holy. It's killing me.
I like that one, Guy.
That
It
is a
will
perfect
sound
one.
better. Julia Cameron, I was like, what?
It was good.
No.
It was good. It was good. You guys make sure that you guys subscribe because they are really good. But let us know in the comments what is your.
Wait. Have you figured
resolution.
out what we did with Julia Cameron that I did?
Well,
You're hitting the
and then talk about it.
reverse the shortened word gaps. Don't do that.
I did not do.
Somebody's
you mean the search
doing
and
it because they
replace?
did it on Dave Evans too.
Wait,
Okay,
you're
let's
saying
end this and talk about it off.
We'll
off
talk about it
the
after
mic.
this.
no?
Anyway,
I want to know now. So wait, you think that
somebody is. It's
you're searching for by number of seconds in word gaps and having it automatically reduce the word gap?
yeah. Don't do that.
No. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
is
somebody's
happening?
it was like shortening the gaps between words because I can see it on there. At least the last
And
two,
you-
Julia Cameron and Dave Evans for sure, because I went back and checked.
Okay. So if someone, you're going to see how the sausage is made here. So if I ask someone a question and they go, I take all those
Yeah,
out.
I take you
right?
don't have to because
It's
you
not-
miss some and I'll do it.
that.
And I'll fix
Every
those.
space. It's every space.
Because I see where you've done that. That's,
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that, but somebody's hitting that button where they're reducing word gaps because there's places where there aren't those and I've got to go back and drag them out. And I just sat on something.
Okay. I will ask Madison.
But
I
yeah,
don't
if
think
you
it's
just
me.
but I listen to the whole thing and I take out stuff. I mean, if I hear those, I'll take them out. I listen with headphones on.
So I should just leave them in?
Yeah, I'll take care of them. You don't need to worry about them.
Okay.
Unless it's
Okay.
like if it's really, yeah, I mean, I take out when you do it. So, I mean, it's not. So, I make you sound good, Guy. That's my job.
The creative tension behind a team.
No, it's not tension. I have to work harder. Peg, do you have this? I mean, George asked, do you have a write-up on starting a podcast? We don't think I have a write-up, but you have the tools and everything that Guy uses for his podcast. Don't we have
We
a Google
could write
Doc?
that up.
Don't we have a Google Doc?
Oh, there's a deer outside my room, my window.
Is he licking on the lick?
Cameron in
He's
the
not
deer
licking.
came.
We're gonna have venison tonight. Okay.
All right.
Oh deer.
That's
Okay.
cool. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you
Hey,
guys next
bye.
year.
Next
Bye.
week, Julia Cameron. Happy New Year.